So there's just one more thing I wanted to say with respect to the part when we were talking about pornography. I do adamantly think that, or with passion, I think adamant is moving towards dogmatism. It's just passion, you know. I got a lot of passion. I passionately think that porn perpetrates the oppression of the woman, for sure. Because if you think about the type of sex that they have in the video, it's so unconscious. It's so just, oh yeah, let me just pound her, let me just give it to her good. But where's the love? Where's the presence? Where's the mindfulness? You know, unconscious sex, and then this leads to the guys treating their woman like that, a real woman, you know, that they actually touch, and that's who has actually, you know, undressed themselves for them. You know, when a woman undresses herself for you, it's just like, dude, that is like the most godly thing to me. That's the most religious thing for me. One of the most religious things for me. One of the most spiritual things to me, you know? Like that vulnerability, that intimacy. She's letting you into her sacred temple, man, you know? That you came out of a woman, you know, and now you're able to give thanks to her. And porn does not create a space of gratitude and reverence and worship of the temple that the woman is, you know. And I can attest to that, man. Just like watching all the porn I have in my life, and like the way I looked at women, and like what I wanted from sex, you know. Even like some girls in high school, like I was just talking with them and like trying to make moves on them just so I could get head, or just so I could have sex with them, you know. Not so that I could love them, but like so I could satisfy my own egoic desire to, you know, oh yeah, get some, you know, yeah, I want to get some. It's so much about dominance and about territory. Oh, I've had sex with this many women, like, oh yeah, like I'm the shit, man, you know. It's like, that's true, that's cool. I mean, not true, that's not true, that's cool and everything, man, yeah, but how many women have, you know, you've been vulnerable with? How many women have you just looked into their eyes nakedly, you know? How many women have you just gave your heart and soul to? How many women have you really looked at with presence? How many women have you really worshipped in love and reverence? You know, that to me means more. And then it doesn't even become any, it's not even a game at that point, you know? This ain't no game, shit is raw. So you know, that's one thing that for porn is a very negative aspect for me. But that being said, there is a lot of there is some conscious porn out there, you know. You're probably not going to find it on Pornhub, and you might have to spend some money, but you know, there are movements. I found some like females on Tumblr who the porn that they make is not like a lot of the porn you see on Pornhub, you know. It's much more conscious, it's much more done in love. But then it goes back to the question, you know, this idea of sacredness. Is it okay for me to watch such a sacred exchange of energy? And you know, I don't want to put a value judgment there, you know. It comes up to the individual there, you know, because
for me, most women that I've dated, I've been something I might not necessarily be into. I'm turned on by the fact that they're into it. But I had this one young lady that I never met in person, and she wanted to do like a rape role play, and I'm like thinking, like, what happened to her that would like sure turn her on for the fact. And then I'm thinking, yeah, if you let everybody in your apartment building know, and the police know, I'm thinking, even though I didn't want to do it, I'm like thinking like the strategy, from a strategy point of view. I'm thinking like, how can I like strategize this and like not get shot by the neighbor? Because I could see myself like being in the apartment. I don't have a gun, but being at the apartment next door and like busting down the door and beating the shit out of this person.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they wouldn't even have a chance to explain that one. Oh, I'm sorry, I fucking beat the shit out of him. I didn't know it was role play night.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just attesting to the problem, you know. Like, our women need to be loved consciously, with presence and worship and reverence, and that's what I'm challenging you men to do, you know. Like, for me, I never got any in high school, and I didn't even get any most of my college years. I needed to find my center first. I needed to really find my core and really ground myself in that. before the universe was like, all right, you know, now I unfold this for you, you know. I mean, that's just me looking back on it now. When I was in it, I was like, man, like I would like to get some, but now that in retrospect, I look back and I think, you know, I really needed to go off into the woods, you know. I really needed to sit down and
I think because you're there all the time, but it was pretty much clear that you were asking for more than the average person would look for.
Sure. I'm just deep, you know. It's
no
just,
pun intended. No pun intended.
I mean, that's just the way I am, you know. Like, I'm gonna look at you with those deep eyes. And one time, my friend Michael was like, "Dude, you got to understand that, like, you're kind of intimidating spiritually. Like, and I know you don't try to be, but like, you got to understand that, like, some females are like gonna be intimidated by that, and you know, that helped me bring understanding, you know. But it was also like where I'm at now. It's just like, the more I surrender to God, the more blissful each moment becomes. And so that's where I want any sexual interactions to come from, you know, the core, the God within myself, you know, and that will provide for the healing forces of sex to be unlocked. Because in my readings of like Tantra, they talk a lot about how sex for them is healing, you know. It's healing, it's an opening up, it's just a dive into the depths, you know, an exploration of the soul, you know. And that's just such a blessing, and you know, that's worth more, you know. Even though like it's taken all these years for me to really start to find this practice of constantly returning to my core and my center, but it's just that to me is worth all the riches in the world compared to just getting some, you know, and having had sex with a lot of girls in that time. So yeah.
I had a young lady approach me at a bar one time, and she had seen me around, and she totally approaches me, and then she's like kind of like saying, "Oh, da-da-da-da, what are you doing here?" It's like saying a lot of different questions, but our eyes like all of a sudden locked, and we're like connecting. And the next day I was telling my friends about it. I was like, that right there was the best sex she ever had. And she like walked off after us gazing in each other's eyes for 2 minutes. She walked off, and then my friend said, "Is that as good for you as for having sex?" And I was like, "Not necessarily, but it's like I've had sex that wasn't as good as that." As far as like, you just didn't have a connection and everything like that. It was like very, very powerful. I didn't have to worry about hurting her. She was a little drunk. She was in a vulnerable position. She might have really forgot it. I didn't know that. I didn't think that it would have been all right. It seemed all right at the time, but I don't think it would have been all right. I would have liked her to approach me in a sober time than being drunk like that. And we just connected. And no side effects, no problem, nothing was taken away from that.
For sure,
yeah.
For sure. I dig it, man. I dig it.
Yeah.
I definitely think that, well, because now I was about to move into the conversation of intimacy, which is, I think...
Let's start another one.
Yeah, I think that'd be another video.
Cool.